Okay, so we're just going to jump straight in there again. Hopefully we should get this finished now. So we've done all the way up to the leg, so let's do this shin part. And we did kind of leave it a bit rough last time. Let's have a look at it and maybe let's do something a bit nicer with this. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time messing around with it really, but let's extrude this down actually. Let's try and get this to meet. I'm just going to close it off. Only because it just seems a little bit messy. Scaled that flat. Let's do the same with this. Scale that flat. Let's do the same with that one. We just scale it a little bit less and less every time so we don't absolutely destroy the shape. Just try and make this a little bit nicer. Although we're not seeing it, it's just more of a... If we can try and make it look a little bit nicer, we may as well. And we'll just bridge. I don't feel that's bridging to the correct one, so we might have to assist it. Cool. I've got that, and obviously that's pretty nasty, but we're not going to see it. But if you really wanted to, we can just delete the history and go sculpting and relax it on the inside. We're not going to see it anyway, but this makes it feel a little bit more complete. A little less messy, but it also guarantees if we do see any light or anything on the inside, it does sort of cover our backs if we see any inside of geo, which we probably won't. But I'm only saying that because I know because of our shots. But say if we were doing the entire advert, you'd probably still have to you'd have to do this because you don't know. And looking at some of the shots from the adverts, the legs are up quite high, so you probably would see in that. Just double check we're not broken anything. And I know we can see in there, but there's going to be like no light in there anyway, so it'll be pretty dark. Cool. So let's actually UV that. Let's delete the history. And same as before. So UV, delete UVs, select UV, may as well go to a reasonable position, UV, camera based. I'm just going to select the edges, and I can select edges that I'm not going to see, so might as well select those. Just going to change our background so it's a little bit easier to see. Nope, I need to go into my cut. Cut in there, and we'll just cut a seam. Nope. Why is that selecting? It's very odd. It seems to be stuck on. Sometimes if you tap Q a few times, nope. And it seems to be stuck on. Why is that? My selection. keeps going to the edge ring. I've actually never had that before, so we should be able to select edge ring. Haven't used this in a while. Usually just 2 edges. To continue edges. Maybe you've got something funny going on in the geo here. No. That's very odd. Why it's doing that. Okay, so to edge loop utilities, to edge loop. For some reason, that is reading that as an edge ring. Oh, I know what it is. I've not connected the correct. I've not connected the correct edges. That's no problem, because obviously this probably it's twisted and I've made a boo-boo. Because that one probably should go down to here, but I'm not too much. I'm not too bothered. It just means that now I can't select my edge loop. But what I can do is just do that. Oh, that's a bit messy. Ideally, probably want to go back and fix that, but that's my fault for see how it's come over. It's come over 1 polygon too many because I didn't check. But it's not a. It just means that we haven't got edge loop. It's a solid object, so it's not a huge deal. You can go back and fix that, but I think for this sake we should be fine. So I'm just going to Control U on that. Control U on that. Let's bring back on UV. And this is quite an organic shape, so we want to kind of do it like that. And transform, set our tactile density, and what I'll do, I can't remember where, because I've just picked this up after a while. Just going to put this down here for now. Cool, so that's that done. And then I can just assign check UV. Assign the check UV, sorry. There we go, and check it's all right. And this is fine because we can use a triplanar projection on that. Cool, so let's now go to our ankle. And I'm just going to do the same again. Like I say, you don't have to watch all of these. You could, you can probably skip through a lot of this. It's going to be very much the same. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, as I'm going through, the reason why I add supporting edges, because it just doesn't pull the geo as much. Most of the cases you don't need to do this, but it's a nice guarantee. Although, so when you smooth it, there's very little poly change, but you don't always have to do that. Cool, so let's delete the history. And delete the UVs. Do not do this so much, and I forget where it is every time. Camera based. Oh, so this should be a fairly simple shape. So we're just going to go to our. We don't really ever see in there, so we can sort of be a bit rough with some of these UVs, but it's up to you. I can just use this as one piece because we're not going to see it. But that also depends on the project. I know that we're not going to see it, so if you're working on something where you don't know, you want to kind of do it properly. And just cut. Let's get some more supporting edges in here. These aren't too necessary. It's just if it subdivides them in more of a squarish fashion. I'll put one more on that side, but it doesn't matter. Just make sure you delete the history when you do the UVs and you've done edits. Just check all that, and I think that should be fine. To this inside edge here. Cool. So might as well do that properly. We just can select them. That's not doable at once. It could have some adverse effects, which we probably don't want. We can leave that like that, I think. And the same with that. Let's just delete all that. So Control E. Ooh. We can use some of these tools because it's not so flat, but we can use fold, straighten UVs, and you always want to optimize after that. Otherwise, you might get some funny things going on. We're not seeing that, so I'm not hugely bothered. Hopefully you'll see some broken stuff on this one. So when you straighten UVs, it can do stuff like this. So you want to make sure you optimize it so it brings it back. I think that'd be all right. Just going to try and get through this as fast as possible because you've probably already got the idea of UVing now. But just in case you get stuck, you get to watch me do the whole thing. You don't have to watch it. It's more of an, I guess, an interesting for you guys if you really want to know how long it takes to do stuff. super frivolous with this. I'm basically using the same tools over and over. Cool. Let's just select all these and set. And see how they kind of scatter away. So let's just organize these. And we'll put them in our waiting room. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this thrilling EV tutorial. Not really selling it right now, am I? But you love it, really. Did I set that? Seems a bit small. We can put that in there. What's that top bit? Just leave it like that for now. And we'll just put that over here. I can't remember where I put the other one, so I'm just going to dump it there. Cool, so we've done that bit, and we're coming very close to almost doing all of this. So I'm just going to assign existing material, check UV. Cool, so that is our last piece. Well, no, we've got the sole to do yet, so we kind of cheated on this bit. We just made it one big mesh, which hopefully shouldn't come back and bite us in the butt. So I'm just going to do the UVs. Then just camera based. I'm just going to go around and do what I always do and make my seams. And it's up to you on how. See, there's a lot of things you can get around not having to UV stuff. It's good to know how to do it for sure. Sometimes it's very necessary. I am going to add an edge loop on that because I don't like how it's probably going to bake. Just Control Shift right click and transform components. Same again here. Transform and just sort of. Ooh. Oh, gee. I've just noticed there's got something here which we want to get rid of. And let's just merge those, edit mesh, merge center. And it's probably come from where we beveled the edges, maybe. But Doesn't matter, as long as you fix it, it really makes as many mistakes as you want. Cool. And just shift right click, transform component again. We'll just make it a little bit more round, so when we do press 3, it's not. So that makes a huge difference. If we're adding edge loops, we want to make sure that we're not. Let's not do that. It should be fine. Cool. So we don't need to UV that. We do need to add an edge loop on there. Not on here though. I guess that's the only downside of when you have really good edge loops, you end up selecting more than sometimes you want. Excuse me. Sorry, I've just realised my mic's really far away, so if that's been quiet, sorry. Just be honest, you're probably not watching anyway. Leave a comment if you are actually watching. Prove me wrong. And I know this is going to be not very nice, but I'm going to try it anyway. See what I get from that. It's going to be the inside anyway. This one's probably not going to be very nice. So that's Control U I'm pressing. We will use triplanar projections and this should be fine. Just pressing Control U over and over. So let's put a seam there as well. Cut that. Control U. No, that's flat. You can orientate them if you're not sure. Control U. And this has been fairly quick. It's not actually taken a huge amount of time. So Control U on that, but we need to add a cut in here. You don't always have to do it. You can leave them round if you want. It really depends on what you've got to do. So have to pin and optimize that. Pin selection, Control U and optimize, edit, unpin all and optimize. And I got nice and straight. Do the same again. Cut, UV shell, unfold. Just select our edges. Just going to scale this and just slightly scale it up. Edit, pin selection, UV shell, Control U, optimize, edit, unpin all, and optimize again. So I could just orient. And yeah, we've pretty much done that whole foot. So let's set our tactile density. Just organize this together. That's probably not. Starting to look at this, maybe it's not the best, because look, when you got these sort of stretched, if you've got this stretched, it kind of means that if you put procedural, it's going to sort of stretch and be around that as well. So I kind of actually don't want that. I'm going to see what happens if I cut here. And they're a little bit more uniform. Obviously, we're going to have a seam here. Maybe even cut one more. But they're a little bit more uniform in size. There's no stretching. And if need be, we can paint that seam out. And that's the inside. Not too bothered about the inside. And in reality, you probably didn't need to. You probably get away with leaving that as it is, depending on how you can texture it. A lot of these are. A lot of texturing goes through the texture artist, and it depends on how he or she wants to texture it. So I want to give them a good base to start with at least, or if you're just doing it yourself. And yeah, we're almost actually almost done. We can do like final checks on our models. Kind of looks like a funny little character there. Oh no, we've just got the soul to do actually. I don't have any soul left after doing this. Actually, we've got 2 souls to do. I forgot about that. So, but they should be fairly quick. So let's just delete UV. Sorry, I just keep drifting away from my mic. So I'm probably going quiet every so often. I'm just going to go. There's pretty nasty geometry here. I'm not going to lie. It's not my. Ooh. What's happened here? Why is that snapping like that? That's weird. Okay, something's happened here. And it's not the best geometry, but this could definitely be a hell of a lot better. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying this is my finest hour. Let's mesh smooth that as well, so it's nice and smooth. But we're not going to see it, so I'm not that bothered. But obviously, if you're going to show this, you probably want to make it look a little bit more nicer, not awful mess like that. It's just because I'm kind of rushing. And I will just cut there. Control U. This one might be a bit tricky to unwrap. Take a little bit longer, but I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Just going to unwrap it, keep it simple. Just going to set the tactile density. And where did I put that in there? Then we just need to do our last one. So I'm just going to sign check UV so I know it's done. And I'm just going to go mesh smooth just so we've got a bit more subdivision on that. UV, delete UVs and camera based. Let me just do the same again. Should be fairly simple. And we're pretty much done. Just going to Control U, Control U. And we're just left with organizing. Unfold process error. All right, let's save this. Let's just export selection, sol, file, import, sol. Cool. So we just export it out as an OBJ. And what have we got here? Definitely something wrong here. Okay, so what's happened here? Don't know. Let's just delete it. So we get near the end and something just goes wrong. That's okay. We can fix it. There's -1 on that. And mesh combine. Let's just go to our orthographic front. And I'm just going to select all these middle ones and just merge. And probably have to change the threshold. And every time you do that, you do want to check that you've not merged something by accident. Cool. Delete the history, and now let's delete the old one. And let's get back to UV. Delete the UVs. Camera based. Yeah, I'm not sure why that did that, but it's probably just something that I've overlooked and just happened from rushing. So Control U. And hopefully that's not worked. Cool. Oh, it's not perfect here, but it will be fine for what we need. You can obviously spend more time getting them perfect. Cool. So I've scattered all these pieces everywhere now, so but they are all done. Right, so these are all bits we've done, so let's organise them. Let's put our feet together. Let's try and get this all in. We're not going to get it all in one UDIM, that's for sure, but we can make the best of our space properly. It's this bit. Seem to have found a piece. Ooh. This is a leftover piece of geometry from something. So make sure you've not got any of that. Okay, so we've got this could possibly what was causing all our edge loop problems. So we've got a big hole here. So it's always good to check your mesh for sure, because holes will come up like that, basically. We can select all those and just sew them together. That would have probably, that's probably why none of our edge loops were working before. But we're past that now, let's not worry. Move forward. If you want to go back and fix it, you can. Cool. Right. Let's get through this and cool. Let's see how much we can organize this getting into one shell, if it's even possible. Probably not with that, but with this we probably can. Just got to be a bit more frugal with space. We're not going to get those in anyway. There's no point in that being so close, so we can bring that out there. Cool, so I'm pretty sure, see, now we've got something that's overlapping here, so we need to make sure we've got no overlapping. That's why I kind of like to work with the checker, because it kind of lets you know if there is something overlapping. So we definitely don't have anything overlapping now. Cool, so I'm just going to select everything and hopefully cool, so we actually have got those bits in there as well. I don't think we'll be able to squeeze that in. Let's try. No, I don't think we're going to get it in as nicely as we want it, so it's not a big deal. We can squeeze those in somewhere on the end. So that's actually we can translate these across and up, so we know that's in there. We might be able to distribute them in there as well, so Just drag these along, that should be fine. Because even though we don't see the inside of that, I'm going to try and refrain from scaling it, because effectively we don't see that, so there's nothing wrong with scaling it down, but I don't want to, basically. Where is my other foot gone? I'm sure we can fit this in. Let's get that right down to the bottom. That's in there. I could probably just pull this up here. Cool. So we've got those all in. We've not had to scale anything down. And we're pretty much done. We've got our rubber bits. So probably we'll actually... So what are these bits? These are our rubber bits. Obviously our rubber bits can be all together. Where are our eyes? Head. Just for now, we'll put that there. We're not going to put it there, but it's just so we're not wasting any space. Well, we are wasting space. Anyway, so we are pretty much done with that. What we're on 42 minutes. Let's just duplicate everything across, finish it off. So this is all. So I'm just going to duplicate that now. And -1 in the X. That didn't duplicate. Control D. -1 in the X. And remember, when we minus stuff, it flips the UVs. So not only do we, so you have a choice whether to, if you want to use the same UV placement. If we leave those there, it's going to use the same texture, but it might, obviously we're baking one, it's sort of baked differently and use different procedures. So what we're going to do with that, we're just going to push that up one shell. And if we look at it, everything will be backwards. See, it's kind of all weird because we need to flip it. Just go up. Cool. And so we can do the same here. We can do a flip UV, but if we do it with 2 shells, tiles selected, it kind of does it weird. So you need to make sure you only do it as one shell at a time. So make sure you only have 1 tile. Then when you flip the UV, it will flip nicely in the box. And the same with this. Don't know why it's doing that weird selection thing. And we'll just flip it again. Why is it not flipping? I think we might need to reset our machine. Or at least close that down. It might be because we have the group selected, not the actual geo. Let's go back to that. Doesn't work with multiple objects selected. Should do, it just worked. Just worked with these. Let's just check we don't have anything weird going on here. There's something in here that's not letting us flip it. I think this might be because why are you not letting me flip it? Well, let's just go through and annoyingly do it all. Okay. That's I could not. I think my selection has got stuck somehow. It happens. Don't know why, but it does. So let's get back to our UV editor. Try it with just our UV edges. I've never tried it with UV edge, so I don't actually know what's going to happen now. No, it keeps saying there's multiple objects selected. I think it's this. It keeps not deselecting things. Okay, let's try and undo all this. This should have been fairly simple, but it's apparently not. Being a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do it brute force, flip them one by one, and pull them over to here. I'm going to move them over by one. Some of them are letting me do it, not all of them. Could not tell you why, but let me just check that one, because I'm not sure if I did that. It's on the inside of the mouth. Cool. Let's just flip. Oh, this is probably a nightmare to do, but it's probably quicker to do it this way now. If you know why it's doing it, please drop a message in the comments. Personally, I think it's just down to something a bit buggy in Maya sometimes. Usually like a reset. Close down the mire will fix it, but I don't want to close down my mire just to reopen it and do this again. We're so close to finishing. That's the right way around. Just got to make sure that I don't press it too many times. Isolate also works in here. Not really sure what's going on. I could probably reset this, turn my mire on and off, but I'm doing it now, and I wonder. Nope. Unfortunately now, because I'm doing this, it's kind of turning into a bit of a mess, but probably in hindsight now, probably would have been quicker just to reload mire, but I'm committed now. I've made those choices in life. Just kind of throwing them anywhere. We're almost done. Sorry about this. I know this is pretty awful. Very close to being done though. Yeah, you might not have these problems. But, if you do, you know what to do. The right way around. 2, 3, yep. Yep. You allowed to say that? Yeah. I just want to double check that one as well. Although we don't ever see it. I wasn't sure if I double clicked it. Yeah, I did by accident. Cool. So we have now finally done that. And I know that was a bit of a mess. To say it's not at all how I wanted it to be. But yeah, don't really know what to say, if I'm honest. It is what it is. I probably could have... so it's my left arm group. Where's my right? Let's put that with my right. And my right. Cool. So let's do the leg. Yeah, might as well do these together. Control G. Control D. -1. done. Just got to move these up. I'm going to move them across one because I'm pretty sure that space is taken. Nope, it's not. So that works. Just bring this down, because if we flip them, it does kind of, we do need to sort of readjust it a bit. Just make sure we're not outside. It's all working now, isn't it? Surprise, surprise. I think something to do with this not deselecting. But it's doing it now, isn't it? So I bet we could get this in here somewhere. It probably came from in there anyway. Yeah, there's just some weird deselecting things going on here. Cool, so now we've done that, we've sort of flipped them. And yeah, I think we're pretty much done if we select all of it. I like to kind of keep them above each other if I've flipped something. I can put my rubber in here. In fact, I'll just leave it in here for now. And my light in here. I know it seems a bit of a waste, but yeah, let's not worry too much about it. These are duplicates, and we're done with that. So let's just going to close that down, and I'm just going to tidy these up. It's got my right leg. Oh no, I'm not actually quite done. I'm missing a bit. Got this bit to do as well. We're almost done. G, Control D, and just minus that in the X. Just going to grab all of this. And just flip it. Cool, everything seems to be working now, annoyingly. Just going to pull these down here so I can select them easy. And where do I want to stuff these? I can just stuff these up here, because I know it's flipped. Cool, so we are now done with our UVing. We'll just clean up everything. Sort of shift P that out. Freeze transforms. And put that back under the hips group. Get rid of these grip. Just name these properly. Cool. Now we've got our right leg. Just going to shift P that out. And the same thing for our right foot. Hold. Yes, shift P. delete that. Just do the same thing. Let's rename these. Left leg and left foot. Cool. And I'll shift P these out. Get rid of that group. And we can just put them under our group. So now we are not done because I thought we UV'd that. We did UV it, we've just not assigned the existing material. We need to delete that. In fact, actually, let's align this up first. Just so it's in the right place. We just delete that. Put under the left foot and freeze transforms. And we're pretty much done. We've done everything. So now the best thing we can do is save it. Not archive, save scene. We're on version 55. And we're on an hour and 2 minutes of the final UVing. But what we want to do now is just go through. This has got a different texture because that's going to be a light. Just want to go around and double check that our UVs are working. Even though we've been quite thorough, it's worth to do just like one more check. And yeah, we're pretty much done. So I don't see any backward stuff. It's all reading the right way. And all looks good. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this really long tutorial of UVing. You probably don't even need to watch it because you probably already know how to UV by the time you've done the head. But yeah, don't forget that like and subscribe button, and see you in the next one, which will be actually getting ready for texturing. So see you in the next one.